Hello, we're here today with Theresa Flannery from Dale Rogers Training Center. Theresa, will you please tell us what Dale Rogers Training Center is?
Thank you. We're a vocational training and employment center for people who have disabilities. We serve teenagers in our work adjustment program through our transition school to work with a contract through Voc Rehab to provide them soft skills and then also to do job exploration. It's a community-based program. So we take them to different businesses around Oklahoma City where they can sample work within that business and hopefully get a feel for the kind of work they want to do after they graduate.
What type of jobs?
OSU, OKC horticulture centers, so they learn a lot about what you do in the fall when it comes to greenhouses and planting. We go back in the spring because it's very different. We also go to the hub there, which is their student union. We go to Walgreens, we go to MG Novelty, which the kids love because it's so fun. Crest, for example, a hotel, I think Embassy Suites. So those are the kinds of places where we'll go, give them a variety of the kinds of work available after they graduate.
Great. So what other type of programs do you have?
We have our placement program where people, once they graduate, we help them find a job that is well suited to their skills and then help them get comfortable in that job the first 5 days that they're there, and then kind of follow along for about 4 to 6 months after they've become employed to make sure that the employer and the person who's been hired are able to communicate, understand the job well, and it's a very comfortable fit. So we employ or assist several people, or 120, 130 people a year to do that.
Great. So now you said you have a contract with DRS. Do people have to be a DRS client in order to receive services from Dale Rogers?
No, but in the two programs I just spoke of, they do. But if they come to us first, we help them figure out how to get to Voc Rehab and get services through DRS. We also employ people with disabilities. We have federal contracts. So if a student has come out of school and they're interested in being a custodian, we pay federal minimum wage, $10.19 an hour, and they could work at Tinker Air Force Base, downtown Oklahoma City, the FAA. They get an additional $4 and change in health and welfare as well for every hour that they work. So we do employ several hundred people a year in those positions as well, and they don't have to be through DRS at all. They can just come to us, apply for a job like anybody would, documentation of disability and an interest to do the work.
That's wonderful. What about the people, the teachers, the parents who say, well, that's fine, but my students still aren't on that level. They either don't have the mobility or the functioning to be a custodian. Are there programs for students with more significant disabilities?
We do. We have a couple of programs where we serve students who have more higher level support needs, usually IQ of a 70 and below, who just need a lot more attention at our sheltered workshop, which is not a bad word. It's an option and a choice for these families because our folks have the opportunity to come and work. We're there 8 to 4 every day, so it's an 8-hour workday, 5 days a week. But we're teaching them the work skills that they need, but we're also giving them opportunity to earn a paycheck during that time frame.
A lot of people do give sheltered workshops a bad name. Some of the complaints I hear is that they're not paid minimum wage. So what would you say to people who say, but they're not paid minimum wage?
They're paid based on prevailing wage through the Department of Labor. There's a lot of regulations that go into being able to do this, but they're paid on their own productivity. So prevailing wage is typically higher than minimum wage, but if their productivity is at 5% or 6% and the rest of their time they're getting a lot of direction and a lot of support and a lot of assistance from the staff, well, they're still paid for the work that they do. So they're paid for their individual productivity.
So I'm trying to understand this, and I think, well, if someone with more involved disabilities really wanted to work, but like you said, needed a lot of redirection, maybe they're walking around or not doing, even if they're working 4 hours a day, and a typical person without a disability could, what would this look like for a typical person versus someone with a disability? Let's say they're making something or putting something together. Can you give me an example of what this person would do and why the pay would look differently?
Sure. So a person who's working in an assembly process in a manufacturing setting might put together 100 widgets, whatever that happens to be, in an hour and make $8 an hour. So for every one of those widgets, they're getting paid basically 8 cents. So I may have a person who in an hour, they really can only make 10. Well, they're still going to get the 80 cents for that. But it's not like they worked a whole hour for those 10. So they did 10 in an hour as they were distracted or maybe just slower or walking around or whatever it is that we can help them move back. And success is then measured if in 2 weeks they do 12 in an hour. Sometimes you have to celebrate the small successes along the way.
So for companies that are contracting with you, I know when I visited Dale Rogers, there was a group of individuals putting together a certain number of washers. I think we've all put together furniture with nuts and bolts and washers, and so they were laying out washers to match the number of washers on the sheet, then they would go in a bag. So for companies, I see how it's not costing them any more to have a group at Dale Rogers put all of those things if once again you're paying them on this basis. Are there any other benefits to companies contracting with places like Dale Rogers for work?
In addition to being cost effective, which is what you've just said, we have all the overhead. So they don't have any of the overhead. They don't have to manage their own turnover to find staff that's going to stay and do the work. The other thing is we have staff that quality checks. So it's on time and it's done to quality. So our folks earn a paycheck. The company gets something that's cost effective and is to high quality, and they know exactly how much they're going to have to pay for it. So it's already a set amount. There's no surprises at the end to the company.
So I know Dale Rogers is located in Oklahoma City. Now, are individuals who don't live in the Oklahoma City vicinity, let's say someone from Mustang, would they be able to go to Dale Rogers?
Absolutely. We serve the whole metro area. So as long as they're able to come to our area, if the sheltered workshop is appropriate for them. But we serve people in the placement services part of the program, all Shawnee to El Reno and almost to Guthrie down to we're housed out of Norman as well. So Noble. And Blanchard in this area, and where we help people find jobs within their own communities. So we're pretty far spread for that. The high school program that we have is mostly Oklahoma City because of the transportation issue, and we only have the students for 3 hours since it's an elective, and they're at their school the rest of the day. So Oklahoma City, Putnam City School District are the primary districts we serve, and then more. But we come down and pick up the kids from their school and take them into the Moore community and then bring them back. So they never come up to the main office.
Wow, it sounds like you have a wide range of programs. What do you think the biggest misconception people have about Dale Rogers is?
I think the biggest misconception is that we're the sheltered workshop, and that's because it's the most visible, but less than 15% of what we do is in congregate. 85% or more that we do is in the community. People are running across folks that we've touched, served and supported every single day. They just don't know that we've had something to do with that. So that's probably the biggest misconception.
So what is one thing that you really hope that people will either remember or know about Dale Rogers?
That when it comes to training and when it comes to employment, that people should have options and choices, be respected, be listened to, and not put their values off on what it is that the person should be doing, but to hear what they want to do and then help them figure that out.
Does Dale Rogers have a website or a different way to contact you?
We do. Our website is at www.drtc.org, and our phone number is 405-946-4489.
Thank you.